Think about the candlesticks in your home for a moment. On a mantel, on a dining table, on a shelf in the dining room. The kind of objects that have been there so long they stopped being seen. They became part of the room rather than objects in it. That invisibility is exactly what has kept 10 specific candlesticks, worth hundreds, some worth thousands, sitting unclaimed in ordinary homes across America. I am going to show you all 10 tonight. Pick up the candlestick nearest to you right now. We are about to find out whether it has been hiding something from you. Number 10. Here is a fact most people do not know. Wedgwood has been making Jasperware candlesticks since the 1770s, and the marks on modern pieces look almost identical to marks on pieces made 200 years earlier. Almost, but not quite. A pair of early Victorian Wedgwood Jasperware candlesticks in Portland blue sold at auction for $840. A single candlestick from the same period brings $250 to $400. The unusual colors, sage green, lilac, black, command a premium over standard blue. A pair of black Jasperware candlesticks sold for over $1,000. Look for Wedgwood impressed into the clay on the base. No country of origin beside the name means pre-1860. England added after 1860. Made in England after 1891. The earlier the mark, the higher the value. Then look at the color of the undecorated areas of the body. Genuine early Wedgwood blue has a slightly uneven, organic tone. Modern Wedgwood blue is perfectly consistent all the way around. A pair sells for 3 times what 2 singles sell separately. Families split candlestick pairs between siblings without knowing that pairing is where the value lives. Number 9. A candlestick with a porcelain figure at the base, a shepherd, a lady in period dress, a cherub, supporting a column decorated with hand-painted flowers. The kind of object that looks ornamental and expensive in a way most people cannot quite place. That inability to place it is worth money. Meissen has been producing figural porcelain candlesticks since the 18th century. A pair of genuine 18th century Meissen figural candlesticks sold at Christie's for 14,000 euros. A single 19th century example in excellent condition brought $2,400 at specialist auction. Under a magnifying glass, look at the crossed swords on the base. Genuine Meissen swords are hand-painted, slightly uneven lines, the tips not meeting cleanly at the center. Then look at the figure's face. On genuine Meissen, the facial features are sharp and individually modeled, eyebrows, lips, and eyelids clearly defined. On lesser porcelain faces look soft and slightly blurred, as if the mold was used too many times. The figural candlestick gets taken to a general antique dealer who prices it as decorative porcelain at $50. The crossed swords were genuine. It was worth 40 times that. Number 8. A pair of silver candlesticks with a classical column form, the kind that gets assumed to be silver plate and priced accordingly. Here is what most people miss. Some of these are Sheffield plate, and Sheffield plate is not the same thing as silver plate. Sheffield plate was produced from 1742 to approximately 1840 by fusing silver onto a copper core, a completely different process from electroplated silver invented in the 1840s. A pair of genuine Sheffield plate Georgian column candlesticks sold at London auction for £1,800. Standard electroplated candlesticks in the same form bring $60. Look at the edges where the silver meets a seam. Genuine Sheffield plate shows a thin line of copper at the edge where the silver layer ends. Electroplated silver shows no copper at all. Sheffield plate pieces are rarely marked. The absence of a silversmith mark does not mean worthless. Look for a maker's mark incorporating a crown or specific symbol pressed into the metal near the base seam. The Sheffield plate candlesticks get sold to a silver buyer who melts them. The copper core makes them worth almost nothing as scrap. As antiques, they were worth £1,800. Number 7. A bronze candlestick with an organic flowing form, a stem that curves like a plant, a base that spreads like roots, heavy, with a dark patina that feels earned rather than applied. Tiffany Studios made these. Tiffany Studios produced bronze candlesticks from approximately 1893 to 1933. A single Tiffany Studio Palistral Favral bronze candlestick in the lily pattern sold at auction in 2022 for $4,200. A matched pair of Tiffany Venetian pattern candlesticks cleared over $12,000. Flip it over. Look for Tiffany Studios New York stamped into the bronze on the underside of the base, along with a model number. Both the name and the number must be present on genuine pieces. Look up the model number. Specific numbers correspond to specific patterns, and some are rarer than others. Then look at the patina. Genuine Tiffany aging shows different tones of brown and green in different areas. Reproduction patina is uniform all the way around. The real loss. The Tiffany bronze sits on a mantel for 60 years, gets included in an estate lot, and sells for $30. The model number on the base was never looked up. Number 6. A candlestick with a glaze that looks like it is on fire. Deep crimson red, bleeding into black and purple. Different depending on where the light hits it. Royal Doulton produced their flam glaze from 1904 onward, and the process was so difficult that production was always limited. A pair of Royal Doulton flam candlesticks in excellent condition sold at special auction for $1,100. Single flam candlesticks in unusual sizes or with figural bases bring $400 to $700 individually. Find the Royal Doulton lion and crown mark on the base, plus the word flambé stamped or printed in red. The red flambé stamp is the specific identifier. Standard Doulton pieces do not carry it. Then hold the candlestick under a single light and turn it slowly. Genuine flam glaze changes as the angle changes. What looks purely red from one direction shows purple and black from another. Reproduction flam glazes are flatter and more uniform. The flam candlestick gets priced alongside ordinary decorative ceramics. The red flambé stamp on the base was never noticed. Number 5. A pair of silver candlesticks with a weighted base, heavier than they look, with a satisfying solidity. The kind described as nice silver and put away for special occasions that never quite arrive. Gorham is America's most important sterling silver manufacturer, and their candlesticks from the late 19th and early 20th centuries are actively collected. A pair of Gorham's sterling weighted candlesticks in the Chantilly pattern sold for $1,400. Early Gorham candlesticks with a date letter from the 1880s or 1890s bring significantly more than later production. Look for the Gorham hallmark, a lion walking left, an anchor, and the letter G in a shield. That combination confirms genuine Gorham sterling. Then look for a date letter stamped beside it. Gorham used a consistent date letter system from 1868 onward. Earlier date letters mean earlier production and higher collector interest. Check the felt pad on the base. If original felt is intact with untarnished silver underneath, condition is excellent. The Gorham sterling candlesticks get sold to a silver buyer at melt price, $200. At specialist auction, they were worth $1,400. Number 4. A pottery candlestick with decoration that rises above the surface, outlines filled with deep jewel-colored glazes in cobalt and claret. The candlestick form in Moorcroft is rarer than the bowl or vase because candlesticks were never a core production item. A signed William Moorcroft candlestick in the pomegranate pattern sold at specialist auction for $860. A matched pair of Moorcroft wisteria candlesticks cleared over $2,000. Run your finger across the surface first. Feel for raised tube-lined outlines above the clay. If the decoration is raised, look at the base for the W. Moorcroft signature in green script. That handwritten signature identifies pieces from the most valuable era before 1945. Later Moorcroft England printed marks are genuine but worth significantly less. Pattern matters. Pomegranate, wisteria, and orchid are the most collected. The Moorcroft candlestick gets included in a box of miscellaneous pottery at an estate sale. Nobody felt the raised surface. It sold for $12. Number 3. A pair of heavy silver candlesticks with a broad gadrooned base, shell, and scroll motifs, the kind that announces itself as important even before you look at the marks. The kind that gets placed on a mantel and stays there for a century without anyone asking who made it. Paul Storr was the greatest English silversmith of the Regency period. A pair of Paul Storr sterling candlesticks sold at Bonham's, London in 2023 for £22,000. A single Storr candlestick from the same period brings £4,000 to £8,000 at specialist auction. English sterling carries 4 hallmarks in a row on the underside of the base. A lion puss confirms sterling. A leopard's head confirms London assay. A date letter identifies the year. PS in a rectangle is the Paul Storr maker's mark. Any English silver candlestick with a date before 1838 warrants specialist appraisal immediately. The 4 marks together are your entire research case. The Paul Storr candlestick gets polished before the estate sale to look presentable. Heavy polishing removes the original surface patina and drops the value at auction. Never polish silver before having it appraised. Number 2. A sterling silver candlestick with a clean, classical form. No excessive ornament, just proportion and weight, and the quiet confidence that comes from being made by the right hands. The Tiffany Co name on the base changes everything about how this object is valued. A pair of Tiffany Co sterling silver candlesticks in the Hampton pattern sold at auction in 2022 for $3,600. Early Tiffany candlesticks from the 1880s with original presentation boxes bring considerably more. Find the Tiffany Co mark on the underside. Tiffany Co and sterling clearly stamped, sometimes with a pattern number. Any piece marked only sterling without the Tiffany name is not Tiffany. Look for a date or order number alongside the mark. Tiffany used a specific numbering system that allows pieces to be dated. Then, feel the weight in both hands. Genuine Tiffany sterling has a density and balance immediately noticeable. The Tiffany candlestick gets sold to a silver buyer who sees sterling and pays the melt price. The Tiffany name beside it was worth 20 times more than the metal. Number 1. The ones already on your mantel. A pair of brass candlesticks, pushed up bases, drip pans, a patina that took 100 years to develop. Most people see decoration. A few people see early English seamed brass from the 1700s. Most old brass candlesticks are worth $20 to $60. But a genuine pair of early English push-up brass candlesticks with seamed construction, a vertical seam running up the shaft where the brass was rolled and soldered, has sold for over $1,200. An identified pair with a stamped maker's mark on the base has cleared $3,000 at folk art auction. Pick up the candlestick nearest to you right now. Run your finger up the shaft and feel for a seam. Look at the base for any stamp. Then look at the patina texture. Genuine aged brass has a slightly pitted, uneven surface under the color. Polished reproduction brass is smooth. That seam, that mark, and that surface are the 3 things standing between you and knowing what you own. 10 candlesticks, 1 base on each one. Go flip yours over tonight. And if you find a mark you do not recognize, drop it in the comments. I read every one. New video coming very soon.